Welcome to the Gambler's Ruin Project, powered by SPECTRA AI. Today's slate sits in one of the most dangerous windows of the season, the first fixtures of the new year. Because New Year matches don't just reset the calendar, they distort incentives.
You see it immediately in the numbers. Training loads are uneven, rotations are reactive instead of planned, and recovery cycles are compressed. The model inputs are noisier than usual.
And let's be honest, some players are still shaking off rust, some are protecting injuries, and some are already looking at the next fixture instead of the one in front of them.
Cold weather doesn't help either. Lower tempo, heavier touches, fewer clean sequences. All things that quietly chip away at expected goal reliability.
Which is why this is the point in the season where models matter more, because intuition gets unreliable.
But at the same time, confidence matters less.
Exactly. January football doesn't reward certainty, it punishes it.
This is where people don't lose because they're wrong. They lose because they're too sure.
And today's matches reflect that perfectly. Tight elo gaps, wide Poisson intervals, Monte Carlo outputs that refuse to give you a clean answer.
So as we break these games down, we're not looking for guarantees. We're looking for structure, risk awareness, and places where restraint is actually the sharpest play. Let's start in South London. South London, Selhurst Park. A ground that never feels comfortable, never feels neutral, and almost never gives you a clean read.
Selhurst's one of those places where the crowd's right on top of you, the pitch feels a size too small, and every loose touch gets booed like a crime.
And conditions won't smooth anything out. Cold, dry air, mild wind, nothing dramatic, but enough to keep tempo slightly compressed. The ball moves quicker, but mistakes stick around longer.
That tight pitch matters too. Selhurst naturally squeezes space, which reduces clean build-up phases and inflates second ball situations.
In other words, nobody's cruising here.
And referee Tony Harrington tends to let play run. That usually favours physical pressure teams early, but it can backfire late when fatigue sets in.
Now let's talk availability, because this is where the match gets fragile.
Crystal Palace are carrying multiple absences across defence and midfield. Not catastrophic individually, but collectively it weakens the spine. Communication, recovery runs, and second phase defending.
Which is dangerous at Selhurst. You can survive one missing piece here, not 3 or 4. Someone always gets pulled into a duel they shouldn't be taking.
Fulham, by contrast, have fewer injuries, but theirs are targeted. They're missing attacking efficiency more than structure. Less punch, less final third sharpness.
So here's the tension. Palace still have volume. They can generate pressure and chances, but Fulham's ability to convert counters or half chances is muted.
Which creates the illusion of control. Palace look busy, Fulham look quiet, and that's exactly how teams get trapped.
Let's get into the numbers. ELO ratings are almost level. This is not a mismatch by strength.
But expected goals do lean Palace. The Poisson model has Palace at 2.04 xg, Fulham at 118.
That sounds comfy, until you look at the spread.
Exactly. Bootstrapped Poisson gives Palace a wide confidence interval, anywhere from 0 to 5 goals. Fulham tops out around 4. Translation: high volatility, not certainty.
And the Monte Carlo simulations reinforce that. Over 10,000 runs, home wins and draws dominate, but neither clears 40%.
There is no runaway outcome here. The model refuses to crown a clear favourite.
Which is the model politely saying, do not overreact to the XG headline.
This is where it gets interesting. The ANN leans Palace. It likes their attacking continuity.
But the tree-based models don't agree. Random forest and gradient boosting are split, reacting more strongly to Palace's defensive instability.
And naive Bayes does what it always does in these spots, inflates the draw.
When we combine everything, the ensemble compresses the outcome space. Home, draw, away all get pulled closer together.
And that leads us to the key lesson here.
When the draw probability pushes into the mid-30s, aggression becomes expensive.
That's how people torch bankrolls, mistaking pressure for dominance. On the pitch, this probably looks like Palace pressing early, trying to overwhelm Fulham with tempo.
Which they can do, for stretches.
But Fulham will sit deep, absorb, and wait. And if Palace overcommit, especially late, that's when this turns.
The data supports that. Palace's late-game defensive XG allowed rises when they chase control instead of managing it.
So the danger zone is the last 20 minutes. Tired legs, stretched shape, one mistimed press. Suddenly the quiet team gets loud.
Selhurst loves chaos. It just doesn't always reward the team that starts it.
The most common scorelines tell the same story. 2-1, 1-1, 1-0.
No blowouts, no clean scripts.
Nothing that lets you relax by halftime.
Exactly, these are thin margin outcomes driven by moments, not momentum.
So informationally, this is a draw-adjacent match.
BTTS stays live because Palace generate volume and Fulham don't need much to score once.
But chasing a straight winner here is dangerous. You're betting against uncertainty, and uncertainty is winning this matchup.
Which makes this the perfect example of why January football punishes confidence. Let's head north, because the next match shows what happens when the models really start arguing. Alright, before we move on, let's hit pause for a second, because if there's one thing January football is famous for, it's lying to you.
Oh yeah. January matches don't just lie. They look you dead in the eye, tell you everything's fine, and then steal your wallet in the 82nd minute.
And the data backs that up. Early January fixtures consistently produce higher than average draw rates and late-game goal volatility, especially in cold, low-energy environments.
Selhurst Park is a repeat offender here. You get these matches where one team is a safe favourite on paper, better XG, stronger ELO, more shots, and none of it converts.
Because nobody's actually sharp, legs are heavy, tempo's fake, and half the match is played at jogging speed with bursts of chaos sprinkled in.
There are so many examples. Dominant home sides in January with 2 expected goals, finishing 0-0, or conceding on the one clean counter they allow all match.
And the crowd doesn't help. Not because they're quiet, but because tension creeps in. Every missed chance tightens the air.
That's when you hear it. The groan, the universal, "Oh no, not this again." And once that happens, control becomes a myth.
This is why we call them matches that lied. They look settled, they feel predictable, but structurally, they're unstable.
And this is usually where people get hurt, not by being wrong, but by believing the game owed them an outcome.
January football doesn't owe you anything. Not form, not logic, not justice.
So if you're listening to this and thinking, that first match sounds safe, that's your cue to step back.
Exactly. Take a breath. Reset your expectations. Because the next match we're about to break down, it takes this uncertainty and turns it up another notch.
Yeah, if match 1 was misleading calm, match 2 is the models actively arguing with each other.
Let's go to Molineux. Alright, let's head to Molineux. And if Selhurst was tense, this one's colder. Literally and mathematically.
Cold, dry, gusty. The kind of conditions where shots look good off the boot and die halfway to goal.
Molineux historically suppresses shot quality in winter fixtures. Crosswinds distort trajectory, and cold air lowers conversion on long-range attempts.
So even if the scoreboard stays quiet early, don't confuse that with control.
This stadium loves to lull you into bad assumptions.
Now, availability is where this match really bends.
Wolves are carrying extensive injuries across multiple lines. That creates depth issues, limits rotation, and raises fatigue risk, especially late.
This isn't just missing bodies, it's missing options. You lose the ability to change rhythm when the game turns.
West Ham, on the other hand, come in fully healthy. That's rare in January and structurally important.
They don't have to improvise. They can play their plan.
And when one team has to chase with tired legs, structure beats energy 9 times out of 10.
Let's get into the data, because this is where things start arguing.
Elo gives West Ham the edge. They're the stronger side on paper.
But expected goals flip that script.
Exactly. Poisson has Wolves at 2.06 xg, West Ham at 1.46. On volume alone, Wolves look aggressive.
But the Monte Carlo doesn't commit. Over 10,000 simulations, home, draw, and away all cluster tightly.
This is the widest uncertainty band of the episode. No outcome dominates.
Which is the model equivalent of shrugging.
The ANN model loves Wolves. It sees their pressing intensity and attacking patterns and leans hard home.
It's basically yelling, Wolves by effort.
But the tree-based models don't buy it.
Random forest and gradient boosting lean West Ham. They're reacting to Wolves' injury load and late-game degradation.
And naive Bayes is doing its thing, blowing up the draw probability.
So when we pull everything together,
The ensemble dampens the extremes. No shouting, no hero picks, just compressed probabilities.
when one model is shouting and four are whispering, listen to the room, not the loudest voice.
That line alone saves people money. On the pitch, this probably looks like Wolves coming out aggressive. High press, early tempo, crowd involved.
But that costs energy.
Exactly. West Ham will absorb, manage territory, and wait. They don't need volume, they need moments.
Set pieces are key here. Wolves concede higher XG on dead ball sequences when fatigued.
And if this is level after 60 minutes, Wolves are the team more likely to wobble.
Which is why late game risk matters more than early dominance.
The most common score lines reflect that instability. 2-1, 1-1, 2-2.
All of them scream, don't relax.
There's draw gravity here, but also late goal danger on both sides. Informationally, this is why totals often make more sense than sides in matches like this.
Because totals benefit from chaos instead of fighting it.
And if you're watching live, the first 15 minutes matter. Frenetic, fatigue's coming. Slow, late goals are still on the table.
This isn't a game to predict, it's a game to respect. Let's wrap it all up. Alright, let's step back and put these two matches side by side. Because on the surface they look different, but structurally, they're sending the same warning.
Exactly. In both matches, the draw probability is elevated, not marginally, meaningfully. That alone tells you these games resist clean outcomes.
And both Poisson models come with wide confidence intervals. Goals are possible, but their distribution is unstable.
Which means there's no structural dominance. No team checks enough boxes to suppress variance.
And that's the trap. People see pressure or form or XG volume and assume control.
But control isn't pressure. Control is stability, and neither match has it.
Now, the reasons are different.
Very different.
In the Palace-Fulham match, the danger comes from pressure imbalance. Palace look like they're in charge, but their defensive structure is fragile.
They generate volume, but they don't close games cleanly. That's how dominant-looking teams end up drawing matches they should win.
Wolves-West Ham is a different animal.
There, the danger is model disagreement. One model is bullish, others are cautious, and the ensemble compresses everything.
So instead of fake control, you get conflicting signals.
And when models argue, certainty is the first thing you abandon.
So the takeaway isn't that these matches are unpredictable.
It's that they're predictable in how they punish overconfidence.
Same warning, different mechanisms.
And if you respect that, you stay in the game.
January football has a habit of punishing overconfidence, not because models fail, but because people forget what models are.
They guide, they don't decide.
And variance always gets the final say.
So keep it simple, respect uncertainty, and if you're engaging at all, the 2% bankroll rule still applies.
If you feel tempted to double it, that's your cue to step away.
Especially with congestion building. Short rest, rotation, and tactical compromises are about to multiply.
And that's exactly what we'll be breaking down next. The congestion slate, rotation chaos, and which models handle it best.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Gambler's Ruin Project. Remember, our content is for informational and entertainment purposes only, and all predictions are AI generated. Gambling can be addictive, so please bet responsibly. Disclaimer: this content is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The predictions and insights provided by the Gambler's Ruin Project, powered by SmartBet AI technology, are generated using statistical models and historical data. These predictions do not guarantee outcomes and should not be considered financial or betting advice. Always gamble responsibly and only wager what you can afford to lose. If you or someone you know is struggling with gambling addiction, seek help from professional support services. Legal notice: this content does not constitute an offer to participate in gambling. The Gambler's Ruin Project does not operate as a bookmaker or betting service and does not encourage gambling. All users are responsible for complying with local laws and regulations regarding sports betting and gambling-related content in their respective jurisdictions. The Gambler's Ruin Project, where the odds get cracked.